Welcome everyone. This is going to be just a simple walkthrough tutorial on how to set up your attack drone and also how to set up dogfights. In the description of this video, regardless of what platform you may be watching it on, I will leave a Steam Workshop link so that you can find this in the Steam Workshop and download it and use it for yourself. Keep in mind that it is kind of a late game build with small reactors, so you will need some silver and uranium. And it is also mostly light armor, or actually all light armor. So this thing is pretty disposable and cheap to build, but it looks pretty, and that's the main aesthetic that I went for there. It'll be a little bit difficult to print off. You'll have to either build it from the bottom up, or from the top down, or side. It just depends on how you print it. But anyways, on with the video. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. So what you'll need is obviously some weapons of some kind, and you will need thrust in every direction and enough power to supply it with power. I went with small reactors and 2 large batteries and some small batteries just for that extra little peak of power output. You'll need a flight block, and this will need to be oriented correctly. If you look at these arrows, these always are supposed to be pointing towards the front of your ship. I know this thing looks a little backwards, but I kind of just like the look of it. It's a little different. And this is left, that's why the L is there, and this is right, and that's why the R is there. Notice the arrows are still pointing. The offensive block is just basically a computer chip added to the AI, which allows it to use combat abilities. The orientation of the offensive block does not really matter, but the AI flight block most certainly matters. Because if you place this backwards, it will think this is the front and this is the rear. So, now we need to set this up, which can take a little bit of time initially to set up, but once you set it up and blueprint it, it is then, fully and ready to go. So next we're going to need to have either a control panel or a port that we can access. And then we can go to the AI blocks, offensive, and AI flight. Okay, so they're already on, that is fine, but notice the AI behavior is off. This is important that you leave this off. Just for now. Collision avoidance, I'm going to leave this on. If you have any subgrids, which means rotors, pistons, hinges, anything else connected to your ship through one of those means, the main ship will detect those subgrids and it will think that there is something nearby, and your drone will most likely just freeze because it's trying to figure out the trajectory at all times. Because pistons and things are not stationary, they're always moving. You'll want to set your speed limit to the max. I'm going to set the maximum altitude pretty high. I was already kind of fidgeting through this because I had to stop the recording and restart again. Max like tilt and pitch and roll. This is so your ship, let's say you don't have as much, let's see, downward thrust as you do upward thrust. You're not going to want to allow your ship to turn like 180 degrees. So it's a good idea to just have it kind of like a shallow angle from center. And that's pretty much it for the AI flight. It's pretty simple. Now this thing will try to avoid, flying around too close to the ground. That's basically the only behavior that it has enabled at the moment. Precision mode, this is more so for like if it's following a recorded path or like waypoints, it'll try and follow with needle precision. I'm going to leave that unchecked. AI behavior, still unchecked. I'm going to leave both of these unchecked on the behavior until I've blueprinted my ship. Okay, so we're unchecked here. We're in the AI combat now, and we're gonna turn this to enemies. which was by default. This will, if you set it to enemies and neutrals, this will also attack unpowered grids controlled by the enemy. You can have this set to target characters if you want, but this could get really squirrely, as, you know, a human is a lot more maneuverable than pretty much all ships almost. Target priority. You can set this to either the largest grid or the smallest grid or the closest. I just go with the closest. Search interval. I always keep this as low as possible because I don't want it to just sit there for, say, 20, 30 seconds being shot at while it's searching for a target. Just set that to high. Threatening subsystem. This is the same as your turrets. This is basically what your drone will prioritize destroying first. I recommend either weapons or power systems or propulsion if you're on a planet. If you're on a planet and you're going up against a large grid ship, propulsion would probably be a good idea, because if you can take out the propulsion and they fall out of the sky, you know, there goes an entire ship regardless of how many weapons it has left. If you're in space, I recommend going for weapons because the drone is going to continue to fight the ship even if it runs out of propulsion. But we'll go with weapons for now. We're basically going to have this drone attack another drone just like it, and I'll show you how to convert everything to space pirates, so you're able to set up dogfights and actually test your drones to see how they compare against other AI. Attack pattern is circle and orbit. Basically, it'll try and maintain like this distance from its enemy and continue to attack and hopefully orbit around, but it's a little bit broken and kind of unresponsive in a way. It seems to get to that distance and then just sit there, but if it's going up against a moving target, then it's more likely to adjust position and move out of the way and things like that. Stay at range is kind of sort of basically the same thing when I actually use it, but it will try and maintain that range. Circle and orbit is like, it's a little bit looser in restrictions. It's more willing to not be exactly that distance away. Stay at range, it's kind of prioritizes the range over engagement. Now, the next important thing is make sure that you add all your weapons. You can click on this and hold shift and click to the bottom one and it'll grab all, and then you can just do add weapon. And now this thing is equipped with the weapons and it will use these. If you don't do this, your drone will not engage in combat. I'm going to control click this. I'm going to try and keep this at 400. Threatening subsystems, weapons, circle orbit, weapons added, and that is essentially how you set up your attack drone. Now, what you can do is add a timer block to your drone, and you can have this set up on a button, and when your ship is connected to the drone, you could have the timer disconnect the connector, so it disconnects from the mothership, and then turn on both of these, and then your drone will be independent and flying around. That way you can charge it up and let it charge up and then release it whenever something comes close. So this is essentially it for how to set up the AI flight and AI offensive. And this thing is pretty much ready to go. The only thing left to do on this is turn on AI flight and behavior. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and hit Control B, and I'm going to blueprint this while looking at it. And we will call this the 777 because I had to rebuild it, because when I was building this thing initially, it was a fighter and it had a cockpit, and I turned off dampeners, and I don't remember why, but oh well. So that is saved now. And now if I just type in 777, it's the Moth A-777 on the Steam Workshop. I will publish this and upload it to Steam after the making of this video, though. Okay, so Now that we have that, we're just going to enable AI. The actual behavior, that is. It's a little weird doing this without my UI on. So we're going to go on each one. We're going to turn this on. Again, you could set a timer and a button and have the button trigger the timer to turn on all of these at once if you want. Or you could have it connected to your ship via connector, and you could have a button in your cockpit that triggers the timer block or a group of timer blocks if you want for multiple drones, and it'll disconnect from your mothership and turn on the AI flight and offensive. Alright. This is just one little pro tip. I recommend keeping your AI flight and control blocks on something that's not going to be targeted. For example, this is just a wing or a fin that sticks out, and landing gears are not going to be targeted. Neither are the AI blocks, and there's not really anything around it that it's going to want to take out. The reactors and power grids are on the sides, but it does have the weapons nearby. So let's do Control C on the ship now. The AI is active. That is important to note. And just so we have a fighting fair chance here. Well, let's actually move away a little bit. Now, drones can actually detect each other quite a distance away. I believe it's like 2.5 kilometers. Now, these should just fly up and attack each other once they're set up. And what we need to do first is we'll just click on this, and let's make sure I actually enabled that. Okay, that's enabled. It saved weapons. This is an exact sister copy of the other ship. Now you can either click on this and scroll all the way to the bottom and shift click the bottom one, or you can just do Control A and that will select everything in here. And then over here on this side of the screen, we're going to go to transfer and transfer to Space Pirates. And as soon as you click this, this thing is going to be an enemy. And here we are. Are you sure you want to? And then yes, and it is now Space Pirates. And they are within 2.5 kilometers. So now they will attack each other. It's not targeting me, even though I'm closer. And this is because I didn't mean to do that. This is because I didn't set it to target characters, and players are characters. So it looks like the Space Pirates win. Maybe. It's still flying towards them. I think the Space Pirate one is at a steeper angle than what this thing is set to approach, and so now it is not wanting to approach. That, or it just doesn't have enough power to get up. It's hard to tell. I don't even think it's moving, really. Nope. This is some of the bugs with the AI as well. So it is not a perfect system. That's important to note. If I do Control Z, I can auto dampen to this thing. Going to grab this. If I go to this, I can turn this to hit and run. And we can turn this to that. And now it'll break away at 276 meters and retreat to a distance of 694. We will turn the timeout though to just a second there. And this will force it to kind of retreat a bit. I recommend the hit and run. That seems to be the most functional. That and the intercept, of course. Intercept is for like missiles, so. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It'll really help out the channel. I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers, and I appreciate each and every one of you who are patient enough with me making these videos. I honestly never thought I'd get to even 100 subscribers. So quite flattered by that, and I appreciate each and every one of you for watching my vids and liking, commenting. Even if it's insults, it's still activity on the channel. So until next time, have a good one.